Thank you for joining us. So today I thought we would explore a little bit about the front body and the back body. And if you've got a towel or a lightweight blanket, I'll show you what to do with it. And I'll show you something else I have. We're going to use those in the first couple postures, but I don't know how much we will. So we're just going to focus on when we're in poses, are we aware of the front body, the back body? And granted, we have more tactile receptors in the front body, but it's that back body that really gives us that support so that our front body can really rest into the support of the back body. So we'll just have a little exploration and play with that little theme today as we move through postures. So let's begin. And the first thing we'll do is this is one of those door stoppers. This can work on both of the things we're doing first, but with my skinnier blanket, I have taken it like this and folded it, and then I've just done a bit of accordion style to make it about, this long and this thickness. And the idea of that is to just feel your spine as it's along this. And depending on how your lower back is, and you can play with this in your own body, is I'm going to lay down across this with my feet on the floor, my knees bent, just to notice what happens when I support the spine. Now, my blanket ends kind of at my sacrum, and this is long enough where it supports my head. So more than likely, you want a towel or something that will support you. And then if you lengthen your legs out long, does that feel okay, or does that put strain on your back? So just allow yourself an opportunity to be supported through the spine. This may help you become aware of the sides of the spine, like, are you feeling like you're sinking more to one side than the other? What happens to your breath? But can you become aware of the length of your spine? And I'll just show you with this, you stay where you are in the pose, but with this piece, I can really, it's a little narrower than that, and I can really, feel that kind of roundness in the spine. So my spine can kind of roll off of it. So it's a different feeling. So just as you stay there for a few rounds of breath, just notice your awareness of your front body and your back body. We often spend a lot of our day in flexion, and we become quite unaware of what's happening in our posture. So we're just going to try to spend some time focusing on this, but also opening the front body as well, as waking up the back body. Now, if you like that posture, so you can roll over now, we'll change to a different pose. But if you like that, this is one way to practice Shavasana sometimes, just for that kind of awareness, that kind of support. It's a little bit of a breath. It can be a bit of a breath practice position. The next pose is taking that, I'm going to roll my blanket this time. So I'm going to roll it up like that, put it long ways, and then just put it right bottom of my shoulder blades and bring my arms out wide. And I'm going to start with my feet on the floor, knees bent. And then I'm going to lengthen my legs and just notice what happens here. This is a little bit of a chest lift with the idea that often our thoracic spine bends this way, but it's supposed to open more the other way. So we often carry a lot of tension in the thoracic spine. And then this will help us get some lift in the chest. And perhaps you feel how the collarbones widen in this position. And this could also be a way that you do Shavasana if this feels right for you. You have to be able to find the comfort in it for a few minutes if you want to use it as a Shavasana practice. And now just notice your breath. And then release that pose and just put the blanket off to the side. We'll use it again. And then come back to laying on your back, feet on the floor, knees bent. And then just notice, perhaps you notice a change in your back body. Maybe there's a little bit more awakeness in it. Perhaps there's a little bit of a shift in its posture. Just notice what you notice. And then we'll wake up the abdominals and just feel how that helps us engage the front body. And you can start with the palms down next to your thighs, your hips, and then just start to bend and straighten. Can you feel the back body just start to spread as you extend the legs up? Can you feel this, how engaging the abdominals helps support the front body? And if you'd like to interlock the hands behind the head, you can do that as you continue to waken up the front body. Yeah, that's what this would be, waking up that front body. And then on your next inhale, bring the legs up, open them wide, exhale them down. And of course, you can be higher up if that works better for you. See if you can really start to feel that length in the front body. Then bending the knees in again. Extend through the heels. Open the legs wide. So that will perhaps wake up the width of your body. And then bring the heels down towards the floor together. Really press through the heels. Feel the length of the front body. Inhale up. Again, you can bend the knees. And then open to the side. Exhale down. Feel that length. And then inhale up. And then bend the knees down. Keep the feet on the floor. And you can place the hands down. We'll just do a few bridge poses to wake up. So you can wake up the front body. So you can start by pressing the heels, extend up. Can you feel the support from your legs in order to stretch out that front body? And then exhale down. And then inhale, pressing through the heels, finding that length in the front body. And exhale down. And then if you want to start including your arms in this, you can inhale the arms overhead. Feel that length in the front body. Exhale as you soften it down. Inhale. Pressing up through those feet. Exhale down. And we'll do 2 more of these. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. And then roll over. And since you have your towel or your blanket with you, come into big toes together, knees wide. And we're going to use the blanket right here into those thigh sockets to really try to find that length in the back body. So you just bring it right into those thigh sockets, and then you can walk your hands out and see if that gives you just a little bit more lift in the pelvis to find length in the back body. And then slowly walk the hands up. You can put that to the side. Walk the hands forward. And so this is a really interesting pose to feel into your back body. So we'll go into downward dog, tuck the toes under, and come in. And just in the first downward dog, just notice what you notice in the front body and the back body. Is one more active than the other? Is one part talking to you more than another? And then bring the knees down, toes together. And again, if you found this useful, place the blanket or towel. It's kind of a nice little weight for the thighs as well. And then see if you can really walk out the hands and really feel in the length in your whole backside, your whole back body. Couple of breaths there. And then inhale, come up, and we'll go into a second downward dog. Tuck the toes under, coming into downward dog. See if you can really lift up the legs, lift the abdominals. Just let that whole backside body lengthen. It's basically from those sit bones that are elevated that the whole backside is lengthening down to the head. And then walk the hands and the feet towards each other. And then slowly roll up the spine. And then just come up into standing. And we'll stand in the front of your mat and just have your feet, hip width. And just do a little bit of rocking forward and back with the idea of noticing where is it challenging for you perhaps. Do you feel like you're going to tip over if you lean too far back, or do you want to, does your body want to lead with the chin? Does it want to lead with the chest? Does it want to lead with the nose or the throat or something? And just notice what you notice. And then make that movement smaller until you find a bit of stillness. And before we do anything, just again notice what's happening in the back side of the body and the front side. So we all know we have gravity, and gravity keeps us connected to the earth. But there's also a force that runs up the front side of the body to give us lift, and then goes down the back side of the body to give us length. So that this is where you can imagine you have a tail that really pulls down to really stabilize you. So see if you can just imagine that force coming up the front side of the body and then going over the head and then lengthening down the back side of the body as if you had a tail that pulled that part of your pelvis. I mean, not with a lot of power, just with a little bit of weight. We want to try to balance the pelvis and not have it tipping over one direction or pulling back too far in the other direction. Now, if I exaggerated, it also does something with my shoulders. But see if you can feel that relationship of the ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, head and neck. And then just inhale the arms overhead. And then what happens then? Sometimes we throw out the front body and then we shorten the back body. But see if you can keep the length up and the length down in that pose. And then we might as well, since we're here, exhale and go into Utkatasana power pose. See if you can really feel the weight of that tail in this pose. And then inhale up, exhale down. We'll do that again. Inhale up, exhale into Utkatasana, really feeling the weight of that tail. Inhale. Arms up, exhale down. And then put the hands on the pelvis and we'll go into warrior one pose. So take the left foot long behind you. And so we're just going to lean a little bit over that front leg just to feel that length from the head to the tail. And then in order to come up, we need to engage those abdominals and really lift that front body to keep that length going in the back body. And then if you're feeling stable there, you can inhale the arms up. And just notice what's happening. Maybe you feel a little more balance between the front and the back side, or maybe you feel uh, something different, so no worries. And then to come out of it, relax the arms down, but lean forward again. And then bring that back leg in and arms down. And a couple of breaths in Tadasana. Again, noticing the front and the back body. And then you can put your hands on your hips and extend that right leg long behind you. Again, leaning forward. So first you feel the power in the legs. And you soften that front body forward to get that length. And now slowly engage the abdominals and come up. And then inhale those arms up if you feel up to it. And a couple of breaths there. Exhale the arms down. Lean forward. And then bring that back leg in. Come into Tadasana. And a couple of breaths there. I think there's something about the leaning forward which helps quiet that front body. I don't know if that's true for you, but that's how I'm reading it in my body. And we're all going to have different experiences, so I don't want to put my experience on your experience. So now again, hands on hips. Take that left foot long behind you and still lean forward, but this time you're going to put the heel down and the foot leaning forward. So we're just going to stay here and really get the stability in the legs. And then again, you're going to inhale and engage the abdominals and bring the torso into Warrior Two pose. Virabhadrasana 2. So just notice the front and the back body the best you can, because again, we're between the legs this time in a different way than we were in Warrior One. And then exhale the arms down. You put the hands on the hips and lean forward. And then bring that back leg in and come up into Tadasana. And again, just notice what's happening in the front and the back body. Can you still feel the lifting in the front and the lengthening in the back? And then the other side. So take that right leg long behind you, place the heel down. Keep the torso forward, feeling that length. And then really press it into the feet. And now lift with those abdominals, that front body, and come into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. And look over that front hand. Couple of breaths here. Notice what's happening in your front and back body. It's a little different than in the last pose. Bring the hands down. Turn the body forward. Bring the back leg in. Come up into Tadasana. And again, just notice what you notice happening in the body. Then we'll try something a little more challenging. I need to walk back on my mat because of creating space for myself. But we're going to bring the right foot forward and the left foot back. And then again, you're going to lean forward here. So you can keep your hands on your hips. Yeah, and you can keep your hands here the whole time. You're going to slowly inch that foot up and come into warrior three pose. You can just stay here and just notice the front and the back body here. And then bring that leg back, leaning forward, and then bring the foot in and come up into Tadasana. A couple of breaths here. And then hands on hips again. Step back a little bit. Take that right leg long behind you, leaning forward. And then start to inch the back foot in, straightening the front leg, lifting the back leg. And take the back leg long, leaning forward. And then bringing the back foot in and coming into Tadasana. And then just take a couple of breaths here. That's quite an energizing pose. I was having a little trouble with my balance. I probably used my arms for that balance. And then again, inhale the arms overhead. Exhale into Utkatasana. Can you really feel that tail? The weight of the tail here. And then inhale, coming up. Exhale the arms down. A couple of breaths there. So we're going to do that last pose again, but we're going to come at it from Utkatasana. So see how that impacts your front and back body. So inhale the arms up. Go into Utkatasana. Now, you're going to slowly bring that left leg back and then just going to lean a little more forward. Find that length and what's happening in the front and the back body. And then bend both legs into Utkatasana. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, the arms down. And then we'll do the other side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale into Utkatasana. Now slowly bring the back leg, right leg up as you pitch yourself a little more forward. Bend that front leg, bring both legs into Utkatasana. Inhale the arms up and exhale down. A couple of breaths there. And then come on down to sitting, and because you've got your towel or your blanket, you can make something to sit on just to give yourself a little connection into the sit bone. And stretch out the legs. And again, when you sit, notice, do you sort of pitch forward or do you lean back? And see if you can find that sort of balance with lift, the force lifting up the front body and then lengthening down the back body. We're just going to come into a little twist here just to notice how the front body and the back body relate in a twist. So just bend that right shin in and then wrap that left on. And just notice what's happening now in the front and the back body. Maybe the back body wants to lean a little bit more. Maybe the front body wants to come more forward. Just notice whatever your tendency is. Then you can go a little bit deeper if you'd like and bring the hand down. And you can bring the elbow if you'd like. But notice how the twist really comes through those abdominals and that lower back to bring you around. Let's slowly unwind. Change sides. So now bring that left shin in. Slowly wrap right arm around the left shin. So you're really bringing the abdominals into that thigh. But just notice if you have that tendency to lean back or really lean forward. And then if you feel up to it, you can bring the left hand behind you and the right one on the thigh and use that as a bit of a leverage to really bring those abdominals into the thigh. And twist. And then slowly release that. And then just come down to your mat and we'll just do a couple of more bridge poses just to notice what you notice. So bring the feet down and you can bring the arms into it if you'd like. Slowly lift up and then slowly come down. Does it feel a little bit easier that you can access this more, this pressing the feet, finding that length in the front body? Exhale, coming down. And then one more time, inhale. And then exhale. And then set yourself up for, you can put feet in the chair, feet up the wall, or regular Shavasana, or you can fold that blanket along your spine. I gave you a number of ideas for Shavasana that you might enjoy. So give yourself whatever you need to end your practice with, and then just let yourself settle into this pose. And then become aware of your back body. Is it supporting your front body? So imagining the feet, imagining the tops of the feet meeting with the backs of the feet. Imagining the front of the ankles and the back of the ankles meeting. Sometimes the front has to let go more, sometimes the back has to support more. So it could go in a number of ways. And imagining the shin and the calf muscle meeting each other. Top of the knee and the back of the knee meets each other. Front of the thigh, back of the thigh meets somewhere in the middle. The front of the pelvis and the back of the pelvis meets in some way. And then what about the front of the rib cage and the back of the rib cage? How do they come together? And then how about the collarbone area and the shoulder blade area? How do they meet together? palms and the back of the hands, how do they meet? The fronts of the wrists and the backs of the wrist, how do they come together? The forearms, the front of the forearms, the back of the forearm, how do they meet? Inner elbow, point to the elbow, how do they come together? Upper arms, how do the biceps and the triceps meet each other? The throat and the neck, how do they come together? Face and the head, how do they meet in the middle? And I have another quote from the book that's been inspiring me called The Story of Every Flower by Carrie Schmidt. Open to that which cannot be seen with your eyes but felt with your heart. Make room for the unknown, the unpredictable, the unimaginable. Surrender to the spirit that fills this space. Open to that which cannot be seen with your eyes but felt with your heart. Make room for the unknown, the unpredictable, the unimaginable. Surrender to the spirit that fills this space. And then slowly begin to reawaken your body, finding a little bit of movement in your fingers and hands, your toes and feet. Give yourself a big stretch and roll to your side. Then you can come up to sitting in your own time. Thank you for joining me. Namaste and have a beautiful day. Namaste. Thank you for watching and joining us.